What's up, guys? It's Lisa here with Temperamental, and Kevin, he's also here. It's episode 48. I'm going to open this Celsius with one hand because I saw somebody do it with a Bud Light, and it was really impressive. Oh, nailed it. So I can just speed that up in post, and it'll look like I did it without any hiccups. What's up, guys? Episode 48. I'm feeling so good this week, guys. I told you the show's called Temperamental. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. We're temperamental. We go back, we go forth. We ebb, we flow. We're like the ocean here. I'm terrified of the ocean. But don't be terrified of temperamental. Keep coming back for more. See, Kevin, he's not so scary. You want some of this? You want some of this? Can't have it. Hey, okay. Careful with that. All right, we've got two Kevins here. Y'all, I woke up and chose violence. I woke up and I chose so much violence, but it didn't pan out. My attitude was there. My actions didn't follow up. So, okay. So you know how you pretty much only watch this podcast to find out what's going on with my ears? Because I often complain how one of my ears just plugs up just over and over, and then I can't hear. And then sometimes the other one goes out and I'm just like, I don't know what anyone's saying. Like, I can't hear. People talk to me. I'm like, I've got nothing. Like, I need to learn sign language at this point. It's gotten so bad. So I woke up. I had my allergy appointment. My allergy doctor is this very nice man. He's very soft-spoken. He's like a cute little puppy, and I was ready to take him down. I was ready to drop kick that puppy as far as I could because I was so mad because my ear keeps going out. Dude said he gonna fix my ear. He not fixing it. It's getting worse. Allergies are much better, and not getting sinus infections is great, but my ears are going out. So I'm upset. I'm like, here we go. We gonna drive there. We gonna yell at this man. I'm not gonna be distracted by the fact that he's very soft-spoken and nice. I'm gonna go after him. Okay, here we go. So then I walked in the room, and I was immediately nice. Like, I realized, like, I can't not be nice. And he's like, so what's going on with your ear? And I'm like, bro, it's still a problem. And he's like, well, let me take a look. And I'm like, okay. So he takes a look, and he's like, well, your ear's infected. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, your ear's infected. You have an ear infection. I'm like, well, okay, but I've been popping the prednisone over and over like candy. I've been popping the prednisone like Tic Tacs. And he's like, first of all, it's prednisone. It's not prednisone. Please stop saying that. We've been over this a million times. Nobody's getting pregnant here. I'm like, yeah, well, not when I can't hear, you know? So now he's got me on amoxicillin. I got to take the thing, and we're going to try to fix the ear. But I got to sing tonight, and that's another question. He's like, have you been stressed at all lately? Cut to last week's podcast episode of me crying. No more than usual. Oh, and my other favorite part was he was like, so do you have any big performances coming up? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm singing tonight at Monday's Dark in Vegas. It's a big freaking deal, and I've been wanting to do it since October, and it's a huge show, dude. Dr. I shouldn't call him out by name. I'll bleep that. He's so nice, though. He's like the best. He's the best. But he's like, okay, well, I don't know what that is. And he's like, but you should just, he's like, do you feel nervous about it? And I'm like, yeah, I do kind of feel nervous about it. I often feel nervous before I go on stage. And he's like, well, here's something that I've found over the years. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait. And he's like, often when I have to go on stage and give some kind of medical presentation and I feel nervous, I think to myself, well, if I'm nervous, then I'm going to come across as nervous. And then my speech won't be as good. He said, so I just tell myself to not be nervous. I just tell myself to relax. And then I do a lot better. And I'm just looking at him like, okay. So when I'm nervous, your advice is to just not be nervous. Have you tried not being nervous when you're nervous? Oh, God. I never thought of that. That's genius. That's why you got all these certificates on the wall. That's why they all framed. That's why you got all these degrees. Because you solving people left and right. Hey, you nervous? Hey, try not being nervous. $70 copay. Genius. I should have been a doctor. So that's that. And I don't know when I'm going to throw this podcast up, but if I do it before tonight, I'm singing at this thing called Monday's Dark. It's for a charity called Little Miss Hannah for developmental, like rare developmental diseases that affect children. I think Hannah suffered from Goucher's disease, and her story definitely made me super emotional. So I'm excited we're going to try to raise $10,000 in 90 minutes for that charity tonight. And if you don't live in Vegas and you can't come in person, you can watch the live stream. So it's going to be awesome. We're doing songs from the British invasion era. So everybody's doing like, Beatles and like zombies and like cool songs like that. I'll be singing. It's going to be awesome. So please buy a ticket to the live stream. That'd be great. But anyway, what I'm really here to talk about. Oh, and by the way, Kevin, can I try again? I'm answering some of your questions, your burning questions. I'm going to answer some of your burning questions here in just a little bit. Last time I did an AMA on this podcast, I gave you guys about 5 minutes notice. It was like right before I was going to film. I was like, ask me anything. So in the span of 5 minutes, don't leave. Why do you have to leave all the time? You want treats, huh? In the span of 5 minutes, you guys were able to fire off about, 10 questions. And hey, treats on the set if anybody wants them. Really? They do smell a little stale. But anyway, I'm here to answer your burning questions here in just a little bit. Why is my podcast set shaking? Earthquake? No. But first, I got to tell you a story. A story. So you know how you're just going along in life and everything's great and you're not having any trauma memories, and then all of a sudden something happens and you're like, and everything just comes rushing back of something that you've suppressed for many years, right? Like I'm a suppressor. I'm a bottler. I bottle it down. Something is upsetting. We're not going to acknowledge that. Nope. We don't want to don't look at me in the eye. We're not going to look at it. We're going to quickly bottle it down inside of us and, release it at the appropriate moment. Like when Daddy hit the referee with the whiskey bottle. It's a great Simpsons quote. But no, we don't acknowledge anything like that. No, bad memories, just get them away. Get them away. So, but I'm working on that, right? I'm trying to work through that. I'm trying to not bottle things up. Don't bottle your emotions like craft beer. Don't do it. Don't bottle. So Sean texted me the other day. And he was like, first he was talking and then he texts. So he was like, hey, so there's this Italian restaurant. I can't start my story. I just started my story. I'm first sentence into my story. Kevin, just finish. I can't, he's using the litter box. He's so loud. Kevin, can you finish, please? Can you hurry up? Okay, we're going to do TJ Maxx, but instead of reversing it, we're going to play it super fast, like the Chipmunks. Okay, go. Okay, he's done. Okay, so anyway, so Sean's talking to me, and he's like, hey, there's this new place, there's this new restaurant in town that we gotta try. And I'm like, oh, do tell, yeah, I love food. And he said, it's an Italian restaurant. I'm like, okay, I love noodles. Go on. It's Olive Garden. No, he's like, okay, so it's actually, what is it? It's like, can you not be so loud? He's like, yeah, it's like this 4-star, like really nice Italian restaurant that's actually used to be a house. Like the building used to be like a brick house, just like a brick house. It was like a house. And then he sent me the picture of it. It's called Chicago Joe's Restaurant here in Vegas. We haven't tried it yet, but he sent it to me. And as soon as he said it's an Italian restaurant in a house, I got that echo in my mind, like in a house, in a house, in a house, in a house. And all the trauma kept rushing back to me. And I went, and I remembered an insane story. This is so insane, right? So I used to live in Portland, Oregon. And all of my group of friends, I had a group of guy friends in Portland, and they're all idiots, right? They're all idiots, and they drove me insane. Loved them, but they were all just horrible life choices, these guys. But still great. So the one thing that I would always pipe up in the friends group is that I got mad that every time we would all go somewhere and eat, I always wanted dessert. But by the time we got to dessert, everybody was too full to get dessert. I'm a dessert girl. I could care way less about the actual meal than the dessert. I want the sugar. Give me the sugar. I need frosting. I need ribbony. I need a ribbon of raspberry through cake. I need drizzling. I need melting. I need lava. I need lava chocolate. I need all of it. I need ice cream. I need all the things. But my stupid group of friends, they never saved room for the dessert. And there's all these like amazing desserts on these menus all over town, but we never get to try them because these idiots, I don't want to be the only one eating dessert. I'm weird like that. Well, like I don't like to be the only one doing something, especially in like an eating or drinking setting. Like I don't like to be the only one with an alcoholic beverage or like the only one, I like to see what other people are doing and experience it with them. Right? Is that strange? Like, I'll wait to see what other people are ordering on the menu, and I'll usually order the same thing as somebody else just because, like, I don't know, I like the shared experience. That's really weird that I do that. I'm a follower, right? Like, I'm not much of a leader. We know this about me. I'm a follower. But, so I would always be like, yo, guys, let's just pick a day where we all go to a restaurant just for dessert. We're not getting a main course. We're not getting savory food. We're not getting a regular meal. We're only getting dessert. So eat before you go. And I tried this many times. And every single time, I'm like, we're eating before we go. We eat before we go. We all gather, right? We're all going to go out. We're going to go cause trouble. We're going to spend as little as possible because we're broke. But we're all going to get together. We're going to eat first. And then we're going to go to a restaurant. We're going to solely get dessert. Don't even bring the regular Don't even bring the regular menu. That's what I meant to say. Please don't bring any members. Do not bring any members. We would only us, and please just bring the menu, don't bring the regular menu. Only bring the dessert menu. Only bring the dessert menu. That's all we're getting. Okay? But every single time that we did that, we would eat first. We'd go to the restaurant. We'd sit down. Guess what these knuckleheads did every time? Maybe I'll just get something small before dessert. No, that's not why we're here. We came here only for dessert. That was the plan that we all agreed on. And they're like, well, what if it was just something small, like 2 pizzas? What if it was just something small, like 2 pizzas for each of us? 2 large pizzas for each of us. Individually, like we each individually get 2 pizzas and then we'll get dessert. We'll have plenty of room for dessert. And every time, you guys, I'm just like, no, this is what you do every time. And we ate before we got here. We had 1 pizza before we got here, and now you want 2 more individually. And then guess what happens? They eat their 2 pizzas, and then they say, well, I'm a little full. I don't think I want dessert. And I'm just like, flipping out. I'm so mad. Oh my gosh, my friends are morons. Every time. I swear this happened like 5 times. Like fuming. Maddest I've ever been. Like I'm getting chills. I'm getting rage chills just thinking about it. Because I was so adamant. This is the problem. They know I'm not a leader. That's why. Right? They know I'm not a leader. They know I'm going to try. They know I'm going to try to wrangle the troops, get my Avengers together. We're going to Avengers unite, okay? We're going to eat our healthy Avengers dinner before we go out into the city where we will then only eat dessert. That's the plan. But they're looking at me like I'm Squirrel Girl, right? Like I'm not one of the main ones. Like, do I even have an action figure? I don't know. I'm Squirrel Girl, and they're all just like Iron Man and Thor, and the main ones that people care about, and they're like, okay, whatever you say, Squirrel Girl. And then we go. They eat 2 pizzas. They're too full. We don't get dessert. Every time. So, I had just one of my friends, Drew. So I had one. And I was like, yo, let's go somewhere. Let's do something. And he's like, what if we went and got dessert? I'm like, thank you. Let's go get dessert. Let's do it. And he's like, there's this really good Italian place that I've been wanting to try that people are telling me is like really good. Like, we should go there. And I'm like, done. Italian dessert, the best, right? We'll get some cannolis. That's the only Italian dessert I can think of. We go and get some cannolis. We're mostly going to get cannolis because that's the only Italian dessert that I can think of right now. So that's why we're going to go and we're going to get some cannolis. I'm literally trying to think of another Italian dessert. So anyway, we eat first, right? We eat whatever junk is just in the kitchen, anyone's kitchen, leftover mac and cheese, a handful of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, whatever. We ate terribly. I still do. But, so we did. It was just me and him. We're going to go to this Italian restaurant. We ate before. We're going to go get dessert, solely dessert. We're going only for dessert. We went, and he's driving, and he pulls into what I would describe as a quaint home. This is a home. This is not a restaurant, okay? It's not in a neighborhood, okay? It is on it's on kind of a main road. Not like a main-ish road. So it is kind of surrounded by other businesses that look like businesses, but this a home. Bro, this a house, okay? So we roll in, we park, and I look at him and I'm like, is this a house? And he's like, it sure looks like it, doesn't it? I'm like, this is back where like we didn't really Google places before we went there, right? We either like, if we drove past, we're like, let's go there. Someone tells us about it, let's go try it. We didn't really Google it. We just kind of lived our life on the edge. And if you remember, one of my first podcasts, I talked about another experience. Actually, I'm going to reference that later. I don't want to spoil anything. So we pull up to this house. It's dark, by the way. It's dark because we're here for an evening dessert. We get out of the car and we go up to the front door. It's a front door. And we knock. We knock on the door, and a man eventually opens the door. A rather large man. We both kind of looked up at him like, okay, you're bigger than us. And his eyes were kind of glazed over, right? Like, and squinty, just like squinty. And he had this smile, this wry smile on his face, right? Like he's smiling and his eyes are half open and kind of glazed over. And he's huge. He's massive. Now, you may be thinking, hey, by the way, this is Portland, so probably high out of his mind, right? This was before they legalized marijuana, but it's Portland. They kind of all do that up there. That's kind of a normal thing. So you're probably just like, okay, well, he was probably doing a little on the job, right? But that's not what I was thinking. So he just kind of looks at us with his squinty eyes and just goes, good evening. And I'm like, it was less of a man who had just smoked marijuana and greeted us into an Italian restaurant and more like a 140-year-old butler inviting me into the Hotel California, right? Like we've driven along a mountain ravine for a while and it's stormy and there's lightning, and then we pull up to a castle and we're like, we better shelter here for the night. And then good evening. That's what it was. And instead of turning and running, we were like, yo, we're here for food. And I think we had a reservation. We did have a reservation. We had a reservation for like 7:30, 8, something like that. It was nighttime, like I said. So we walk into the living room because it's a home. And it's a small home too. I'm like, a family of 4 could not comfortably live here. And the front room has been converted into a dining room, kind of. It's so small. There's like a fake wall that from the fake wall to the front door, I'd say is probably 20 feet. It's small. And there's one table with 2 chairs in between the wall and the front door. Like we walked 4 steps into the restaurant, and we were at our table. And then we just sat down. And there were only 2 other tables in the living room. And they looked like they had maybe just been hastily set up. The walls were basically blank. I think there was one picture, there was one stock photo of Rome, of Italy on the wall. It was oh, that's a nice picture of the Colosseum. Why does it say Shutterstock on it 80 times? This is, okay. They obviously went there. It's an authentic picture. Took it themselves. Wrote Shutterstock all over it. Framed it. Put it in their Italian restaurant. And the name of the restaurant was something so generic like Luigi Fettuccini's. If you had to come up with the name of a restaurant in 20 minutes, not in 20, in 20 seconds. Okay, go. What Italian words do I know? Luigi, Martin, no. Luigi Fettuccini Restaurant. Luigi Fettuccini Ristorante. Boom, nailed it. Put it on the door. The front door. Open the screen door. Lock the screen door, open the screen door, move the silver thing on the top from the left to the right so that it locks open, and then put Luigi Fettuccini's Italian Restaurant. Just Sharpie it. It's fine, though. It'll be fine. Just write in Sharpie, Luigi Fettuccini's Ristorante on the front door of this house because it's a house, and then people will know this is a restaurant. So we're sitting in there, and I wouldn't say I felt safe. The carpet was kind of like football turf. That's kind of the best way I could describe it, like a very thin football turf. And there was no ambiance, and there were no other people there except for the one enormous man with the hazy, squinty eyes. And maybe some faint jazz in the background, right? Faint jazz. So he seats us in what to me looks like the only real table and chairs, the only place that diners would actually sit in this house. And he hands us some menus just on paper. The menus are paper. And then it's very quiet, and he's like, "I'll give y'all a second to look at the menu, and I'll be back." He talks so soft, this guy. And then he disappears into the back. And it's just us sitting there at one table with 2 other tables that were clearly just recently set up, with blank walls, with one stock photo of Italy on the walls, faint jazz music playing in the background. I'm not feeling great about this. I'm not feeling great. And I'm looking at my friend and I'm like, "Yo, is this creepy to you? Am I the only, what's going on?" And he looks at me and he's just like, yeah, this is really strange. And in that moment, I'm like, "But wait a minute, you brought me here. I'm nervous, but why are you nervous? Why are you nervous? You knew where we were coming. Are you in cahoots? Are you in cahoots with whatever's happening? Because we all know what we're thinking about this place, right? I'm about to get murdered. Easily. I think if you would have given me, I swear, if you would have given me, less than a day to make my house look like an Italian restaurant, I would have done a better job than this place. I would have done a better job. Give me 23 hours. I will turn this house into a damn Olive Garden, okay? It's like these guys didn't even try. It's all like a pop-up set. And I'm kind of freaking out. Because you know what I like in my restaurants? More than one people to be there. Can I say that again? You know what I like in my restaurants? More than just one guy to be there. I'm not hearing clinking. Is there a kitchen? I don't hear any clinking. Kitchens are notorious for clinking sounds. I'm not smelling marinara sauce. Okay? I'm not making any of this up. I swear I'm not making this up. That's why I bottled the trauma, and that's why it's all, you know? What I look for in a restaurant is more than one guy who works there. What I look for in a restaurant is a letter in the window that tells me a health inspector's been there. What I look for in a restaurant are menus that are not handwritten probably 5 minutes before we got there. Okay? What I look for in a restaurant is not the faint smell of formaldehyde. It smelled weird in there, guys. I don't know, but I'm sitting there, and we're already, you can't just, I had this unsettling feeling that I couldn't just leave, right? It's too late for me. This is it. This is it. I'm committed to this experience and I'm going to see it through. Now, none of this is as upsetting as what happened next, because you know what happened next. What did my buddy do? He said, I think I'm going to get something to eat before dessert. Oh, are you? Are you going to get something to eat before we get dessert? Is that what you're going to do? Is that the thing that you're going to do that you always do? Yeah, okay, let's get dinner. Why not? We've already thrown caution to the wind. We're already in some kind of murder house. Let's just get dinner. Let's do it. So the one guy comes back out, takes our order, barely says a word, gives us that weird smile, disappears to the back. Still no clinking. No clinking. Too soon. Like, the food came out too soon, right? I mean, look, behind the one fake wall, maybe it was like totally legit. Maybe there's like 5 Italian guys just going at it, making the best food of their lives, from the home country. Maybe they don't speak English. Maybe that's why they keep behind the wall, right? We can't have you talking to the customers. You guys speaking Italian, like, they're gonna think you're crazy, okay? This is Portland. We're the whitest city in the whole America. So I don't know what's going on behind the wall, but too soon, the dude walks out and he places 2 plates of spaghetti and meatballs in front of us because, you girl, I'm a follower. I'm going to do what everybody else is going to do. So yeah, I came there for only dessert and solely dessert, only wanted dessert. But what am I doing? I'm getting sketty. I'm getting sketty with my buddy because my buddy wants sketty because we're not getting to, God, I'm so mad every time. Every time. So this enormous waiter walks out and he places my spaghetti and meatball in front of me. And this is it's not meatballs. It's just the one. It's a big meatball. It's a meatball sitting on top of noodles and red sauce. And he sets it down in front of us and he goes, and I quote, "Y'all indulge now." Smiles for too long and then walks off. Says y'all indulge now, smiles too long, walks off. Creepiest thing ever been said to me. Creepiest thing to ever be said to me. You just set food down in front of me, said y'all indulge now, smiled too long, and then left. And I'm looking at my meatball and I'm like, well, that's people. Well, this is people. Well, we're about to eat people. Like, that's 100% what's going on. Look, I'm not saying we were next to the woods, but I'll say there was woods nearby, because when you're in Oregon, there's always woods nearby. I think that they're taking unsuspecting hikers, dragging them into the murder house by their hair, chopping them up. This is a Sweeney Todd situation, and they're serving me up hiker. This is spaghetti and hiker, right? This is not spaghetti and meatballs. This is people. There's people in front of me. So of course I don't want to eat it. But my first thought, being a kind person, was, well, you can't be rude to the cannibal. You can't offend them. Don't offend the murderers. So I'm starting to so I start to slice up. And I'm already eyeing my buddy, right? I'm like, are y'all in cahoots? Is this a cahoot situation? When's it going to happen? When does the garrote wire go behind my neck? When do I die? When are you just going to hit me over the head with a cannoli? It's a bat shaped like a cannoli. When do my lights go out? And when am I the next person served to somebody in meatball form? When's that coming? Because it's coming soon. So I'm kind of just gingerly slicing up my giant meatball looking for an ear or a fingernail or an entire finger or perhaps just you know, just a chunk of hair, anything like just an ID, a wallet, anything. What's in this meatball? I don't eat the meatball. I took like 4 bites of the spaghetti. And I'm like, I think that's enough for me. I think I've had enough. And of course my buddy eats the whole thing. And the most upsetting part is that after he's done, he looks me straight in the eye and he's like, do you want to get dessert? And I just looked at him and said, no, I think I'm good. I think no on the dessert this time. And he was like, great. And we quickly paid the bill in cash and we got the hell out of there. And we drove away quickly. And we didn't get horribly sick afterward. I don't know how. Maybe I didn't eat the meatball. Maybe that's why. But Drew did. But he also has a stomach of steel and he could eat anything. So, y'all, that was quite an experience. Y'all indulge now. Oh, so creepy, right? And let me tell you what's even worse. For about a half an hour before I started this podcast, I went on Google and I looked for this place. It doesn't exist. The limit does not exist. It doesn't exist. There's no record of this place because I know exactly what it looked like. I know exactly what the dining room looked like. I know what the parking lot looked like. I know everything about this place. It doesn't exist. It's not there. If it is there, it's been wildly remodeled somehow. It's been rebranded. It's been renamed. It's a new owner. I don't know what it is. I don't even know what part of Portland it was in. It was dark. I wasn't driving. There was no GPS. We all drove junkers and barely got anywhere. There's no map for me to follow. But it doesn't exist. Sometimes I think maybe I just dreamed it. Never saw another person in the restaurant. Never saw another person. Definitely was served people. Didn't eat the people, but I was served people. So that's why, in conclusion, I'm a little wary of this Chicago Joe's restaurant in a house. Not big on going to restaurants in houses anymore. Okay, we've gone. Let me check the time. Oh, I've already talked for so long, guys. I'm sorry, I went on for too long. I'm gonna just answer some. Let's do some AMAs, and then I'm gonna save a bunch of these for next time as well, because you know your girl's a blabbermouth and she just goes on and on and on, and didn't save time for enough AMAs. All right, let's check this out. I'm just gonna rattle. So, oh, good, my Wi-Fi's not working. Use cellular data. Don't ask, just do it. All right. Do you like collecting vinyls or CDs? Gatsby Indea Jr. asked me that. I've never owned a record player, but I love the sound of them. I love the sound of records and vinyls. I love the clicks and the pops. I love that. My grandma used to listen to them all the time, and she has an amazing vinyl collection. I don't really collect either. I only have 4 CDs in my car, and they're all Blink-182. I have 4 Blink-182 CDs in my car and 1 Dr. Dre tape, The Chronic, because my car plays tapes. Because it's still the same junker that I drove in Portland all those years ago that barely got anywhere. I came full circle. Have you had a paranormal experience? Does that spaghetti in a spaghetti restaurant in a home count? That's very paranormal. No, I don't think so. I don't think I've had any. I haven't been poked and prodded. That was Crucieth. But I enjoy reading conspiracy theories, but I don't think I've ever really truly believed one or experienced anything that would lead me to believe one. Are you going to add more Okay, this is by Joey Wallacer. Are you going to add more Are you going to add more songs on Spotify? Yes. I have a couple original songs I'm working on that I think you guys will really like that will be going up soon. But in the meantime, we have new Von Bolt releases. We're trying to do them every month. A couple new songs. I think you guys will really dig them. Susie asks favorite scene in each Lord of the Rings movie and why. Girl, I do not have time to go over that in today's podcast because of the spaghetti story. Y'all indulge now. Johnny Galaxy Studio said, what is your favorite pet? Not Kevin. Probably Riley. She's a good one. Riley. Oh, she's probably in the office. Oh, she ain't coming. Just kidding. You're out. It's girl Kevin. Wolverine or Deadpool? Definitely Deadpool. Has my energy. Is this some radical new therapy? Dude, koala munching leaves. I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful. He's been quoting What About Bob, which is one of my favorite movies. You should take a vacation. I'm on vacation. Have you been to, Chris Pianelli says, have you been to all 5 boroughs? Have you been to all 5 boroughs in New York? What is that? What is a borough? Like a burrow? What is a borough? Hold on. I need to know what this is. We don't say that. It's kind of like when they say bodega in New York, and then we have no idea what that means over here on the West Coast. A town or district that is an administrative unit. Okay, so New York is like chopped into 5 different. Bro, I'm just gonna say no. I'm just gonna say no. We just keep it easy. I've been to New York, just New York City, thrice. Once for dance competition and 2 times for Nickelodeon. One time I was on You Pick Live there. That was a lot of fun. And I got to meet Pick Boy. And do you remember that show, You Pick Live? And Garbaggio was like the wrestler on that show. And then I got to dress up as his little sister. And we did like a wrestling match. It was awesome. Raffo_Chaos says, is the season 7, 8, 9, and 10 of all that coming to Paramount Plus? I doubt it. I wish. Keep sending letters, guys. Biggest, okay, this is from my friend China. Biggest ick or pet peeve romantically or platonically? I'd say being rude to waitstaff and waiters. I mean, look, guys, I was in a murder house. We'll make this murder house a home. I was in a Sweeney Todd murder house restaurante situation. I was served person. I was served a meatball of person. And I still couldn't get up and run out because I didn't want to offend the staff. And by the staff, I mean the one guy. So even then, I can't be rude. I love that meme that it's like, I don't even know what would make me be mean to a waiter. Maybe if they served me a bowl of worms, and then even then I'd be like, oh, excuse me, I think you've brought me someone else's bowl of worms. That's absolutely me. I never complain under any circumstance. I just don't. I think everybody's working hard and just trying to make ends meet, and everybody's trying their best. So like, I'll just, even if I hate it, I'll just scarf it down. But yeah, being rude's a massive turnoff. Hate that. That's probably really annoying that I'm doing the in between these questions. Okay, one last question before I save all these for the next one. Why do you like Cemeteries so much? Well, you guys know I have a morbid curiosity and, dark sense of humor, and I look at death in a really healthy way. I look at it less like scary and how's it going to happen, and no one's promised another day and blah blah. I don't look at it in that mindset. I really do look at it like like go after your dreams and take risks and try new things and get on stage. Tell yourself to not be nervous, and then don't be nervous. Take risks and try new things and be the best that you can be, and practice every day on your craft and get better and better because you do only have a limited number of days. And I think that's something to be celebrated. I think that cemeteries are very relaxing for me. They're very peaceful. My life is usually very loud and chaotic, and cemeteries are extremely quiet, a different kind of quiet, right? I love reading epitaphs. I love reading the stories of people's lives in the really old historic cemeteries, just, how they died, who was their family. There's all sorts of different insignias, and, gravestones have different meanings depending on what's carved into them. Sometimes even the way the grave is facing means something different. And to me, it's just very poetic. And I wish there were more like beautiful cemeteries on the West Coast of America. I know there's some really pretty ones in like New York and New Orleans and on the East Coast, but I don't go to the East Coast very often. My favorite would probably be Glasnevin Cemetery in Dublin, but I just went to Highgate Cemetery in London. Absolutely loved that. Yeah, I just like the history of it all and the peacefulness and just that kind of memento mori reminder that death is coming, and enjoy life and do everything you can with the days that you are given, because it's all gonna end. We're all gonna die. Anyway, it's been episode 48. Thanks for going on this ride with me, guys. I love you all. I'll keep you updated on my ear. But until then, just know I'm gonna answer you guys' questions next week. Y'all indulge now. Y'all enjoy that hiker meatball, y'all. You're next. What was that? Nothing. I didn't say anything. Did you call it a hiker meatball? I called it a regular meatball. You must be hearing things. Okay. Gonna eat this meatball. Enjoy your meatball. That's definitely not people. What? Nothing.